Hello everyone, I'm Bets Golden. Thank you so much for joining me today. I was originally going to do a 7 things you can do with Blends 2, which is the brand new line from Eileen Hull Color Boxes. They're really fantastic, fun inks, and I'm going to show you how to do some stuff. But I decided to break it up into 2 different parts, so 2 different videos, because I want to create a project and I'm going to show you through the course of the 2 projects how to use 7 techniques. This first technique is why Blends is great for stampers and card makers. You are literally going to create a card entirely out of blends and stamps. So let's go ahead and jump into that. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out these 3 colors. I'm just going to blend them like the name says, right? So what you want to do is you just want to take a dot of it. You only need a dot. So I'm going to use some Sunshine. And I'm left-handed, so I kind of work like this. I have this off to the side so I can take the color off of my blend brush. And I'm going to show you in the course of the 2 parts, every color that's new out. So for this, we're using Sunshine, Bay, and Hydrangeas for this. And so I'm just going to pick up my color with my brush, and you could do this with one of those sponge ones, you know, the sponge applicators. That would work, the dabbers. And I'm just going to blend it on through like so. And what I like to do is I kind of like to just go all over the place and get as much of that color off as I can. It blends out beautifully. All right, and then I'm going to take and just run my brush over my paper towel. Now, if I was doing this with like a sponge dabber, I would just switch out my sponge dabber, but I didn't want to have to do that, so that's why I'm using the brush. And now I'm able to lay the next one down, which is going to be the Bay. So again, I'm not going to use as much this time because I want a little less of a coverage. And I'm just going to pick that up and I'm going to blend it right in, starting off of the page and just working my way through the portion of color that I want. And if I want more, I can go in and just blend in some more, add some more. But it's so pretty. And really the transfer between the colors is not much. Like, the colors keep their integrity really well as long as you don't add water. When you add water, you might get a little bit of mudding. But so far I haven't seen that. I'm going to darken that just a little bit. So I'm going to add another drop. And let me tell you, a drop goes a long way. Okay, so I'm just starting off of the page, working my way through like so. And I'm just creating my background. All right, so I'm going to rub this off. And as you can see, there's not much there. It does a really nice job. Now I'm going to lay down this color, Hydrangea, and I'm going to do that on this bottom portion here. And again, just going to use this same technique. And I just want to make sure I get like that kind of rubbed out before I start rubbing it on my paper. And just going to go off the edge and rub it through. And this kind of helps with not getting those real splotchy lines as well. And this background is almost done. All right, so my background is created, and now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you a really fun way that you can stamp with these. I'm going to be using the Birthday Confetti by Close to My Heart today, and this is a great stamp because you can layer it on. That's the reason why I purchased it. But it is a very nice cling foam, or cling I should say. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to just line it up kind of in the center, and then we're going to pick it up with our platform. This platform is no longer available on the market. I hate to admit that I bought this before I knew what Misty was, and Hampton, who is this by? This is it by Hampton Arts? Anyway, I hate to say that if it's not, but they no longer carry it because it is copyrighted by Misty. So I don't like to show on it very much because it is not available, and I'm not a real fan of what they did, you know. So anyway, I will have a suggestion of platforms that are copyrighted and that they're their own listed down below. All right, so for this I'm going to pick up, and the colors I'm using are Beach and Stop, and I'm going to pick up some of that color again on my little brush, and I'm just going to start to dab it around in areas on my stamp. This is a great technique. This ink is wonderful for this because it allows for some detail stamping to take place, whereas you would not be able to do this with just an ink pad. The dry time on this is a little bit longer, so you have time to really lay out your stamps and all your ink and just really get a really nice coverage on it. So I'm just going to lay out a little bit more ink, and I just do literally one drop at a time. So I'm going to do the red first, and then I'm going to go through and do a beautiful blue. All right, so that's that. And I already have the blue out. So let me just pick up some of this and just go over those little confetti pieces that I didn't hit before. Like so. And you notice how I'm just tapping. I'm only tapping. I'm not rubbing, I'm just tapping. And then I'm going to go over some more of the red. I kind of like to go over it because a couple times over in this area, just because I noticed that some of them are more red than other areas. And so I kind of just want to even that out a little bit. So I build the color. I'm building the color. And then once you get it to your liking, you're going to go ahead and just stamp that image like so. And I'm a rubber. I like to rub it. Some people are CPR. That's what Tim Holtz calls it. It's pretty funny. All right. And there we go. So now we have a really fun confetti background. So from here, I'm going to want to put the sentiment on, and I'm going to show you how you can stamp and emboss with this as well. This is a beautiful ink to emboss with. I've already gone ahead and laid out my happy birthday because I had to get it lined up the best to my ability, which is always hard for me. So for this, I'm just going to stamp it in ebony. And I'm just going to take and just do a dollop off to the side. And then I'm going to take my brush and just pick it up. And I'm just going to go over all of my letters. And I'm dabbing it on once again. And I want to make sure I have really good coverage. And this cleans up really nicely, so I'm totally okay that I'm getting black everywhere. That's totally fine, or ebony, I should say. All right, so that's really nice coverage. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and flip it over, give it a nice stamp. And then I'm going to take it, I'm going to set this off to the side. And I'm going to take my clear embossing, and I'm just going to cover the entire thing with some clear embossing powder, because some of those beautiful confettis may have not dried entirely, and so this will be a great opportunity just to emboss them and get them to dry. So see how cute that is? And as you can see, I got my placement a little bit wrong, but that's okay, because the next step I'm going to show you what you can do, and you won't even be able to tell. All right, so let's just heat set this. You know that it's heat set when it turns glossy. So that's all ready for our next step, in which I'm going to actually use the ink to watercolor in the image. And the reason why I embossed it was because I wanted it to be easier to watercolor. It helps me stay in the line, so to speak, when I have a little bit of a ridge that the embossing allows. Now, this is one of the coolest techniques, I think, that you can do with blends, and that is you can actually paint on it. Pardon me, I had to move that mat. There was some embossing powder on it, so I wanted to clean it off. So for this, what you're going to do is you're going to take your color, and I'm using Leaf. And again, I'm just doing a dollop, a little dot, and then I'm going to take my water, spray it on there, move it around a little, and now I'm going to paint. And again, those embossed lines that I created are going to help me stay in the lines. And if this color is too intense, I can go ahead, add more water, and it'll pull more of the color out and give it more of a translucent see-through type coverage. But I'm pretty happy with the coverage because, if you remember, I didn't line up my sentiment perfectly, so this helps camouflage it. And you just take and color your images in. And I'm just using a paintbrush. It's so cool. So far we've blended with it. We have stamped with it, detailed stamped with it, embossed over it, and now we are painting with the blends. So a very versatile product. I really like it. This is kind of one of those things that I think every crafter should have in their craft room, because you can use it on so many different things and in so many different ways. You do not just have to limit yourself to paper. I believe you can use it on metal, glass, wood, fabric. So it's very diverse, and it kind of does the job of several different things. It does the job of painting, watercolor paint, you know, ink for stamps, blending. So I really appreciate that. I think it's a great value. And again, I'm going to have another part 2 of Blends 2, which is we're going to work on a mixed media piece, and I'm going to show you 3 other techniques, or several other techniques, maybe 4, I forgot, in that video on how you can make backgrounds. And then I'm going to show you some cool stuff you can do with those backgrounds if you just want to do something different, because I get a lot of backgrounds, and so sometimes it's fun to create a card and not stamp at all, and so that's what we're going to do in that. It's going to be a really cool, fun project. So I hope that you come back and you'll be able to see the other colors that are available in this second line, in this Blends 2 line. But as you can see, it applies beautifully. Loving it. And it does stay wet for a few, so you have some time to work with it. And then once I get it all in, I did sit down, I hope you could hear me okay. Once I get it all in, I do go back over spots. And I'm pretty happy with that. So now I'm going to show you the next thing that you can do. And I love this stuff. This is the new clear ink. This stuff is amazing. I'm going to be featuring it as well in the next video, I believe. So you'll be able to see even more stuff you can do with it. I think. I could be wrong. I might be doing something different. You'll just have to come back and see. So let me clean this up, and then we will go ahead and I'm going to show you what you can do with this. Okay, so I'm wrong. I'm not using the clear transparent ink in the next video, but I am using the glistening glass in the next video. This stuff, you guys, is amazing. It's amazing. We are going to cover the happy birthday with this clear transparent, and then I'm going to put glistening glass over it. Basically, this is an ultra thick embossing powder, and when it is dried and heated, it looks like glass. It is so cool. Let me show you another card. It's on my channel that I did to show you just some other things you can do with this. Check out this. Look at the window, the back window. So you can put it on things that should be glass in your pictures. Think about those stamps that you have that are window panels and, you know, window stamps or stained glass look. You can totally put this over all of the color and you are going to get that glass. I also put it down here on the license plate, and then also over the lights. It is so cool. And the awesome thing is you don't have to buy it in every color. You can just color in your image, cover it with the clear, and then you will get that color right through. So for this, you can apply it with a paintbrush, but I'm just going to do a direct apply right here, and I'm just going to go over my letters real quick. I absolutely love this stuff. It is so much fun. And the thicker you put it on, the more of a embossed effect you're going to get. So this is like one of my very favorite things in the line. I love it. Clear ink. All right, so I did that really fast. So, and now we're going to go ahead and we're going to emboss it, and you're just going to see, you guys, how awesome this is. So I'm just going to set it in there like I did the last time. And I'm going to take my glistening glass. This is also by Eileen Hall. She's had this out for a while. I'll have all the supplies listed down below, including a link to her Etsy shop. And then I'm going to dump this off in here. Look, it's already, you can already see. Look at that. Looks like sugar. All right, so from here, I'm going to start on the bottom and heat set it. So I'm going to go under and heat set it. Otherwise, you have a tendency to blow off this thick embossing powder. Not so much with this this clear. It holds it really well. But I just, on the safe side, I just want to go under and start to melt it. Make sure you move your gun, your heat gun, so you don't have a fire. And it's going to melt from the bottom. And then once it gets a nice, once you have a good feel that it's starting to melt, you can go ahead and flip it over to the top, which I'm going to do in just a minute. I got to get these down here. And I had no flyaway. Do you see how that's all melting into some, it looks like beautiful glass? Look how pretty that is. Look how gorgeous that is. It looks like glass. So now you can just build your card. And what I like to do is on this, I want to keep it, I'm just going to lay out some primary colors right here. I cut down a 5x7 card base in orange. Then I have this beautiful green that I'm going to use as a mat. But before I do that, I want to just take some washi tape, and because I'm not going to do much else to the front of this card. So I'm going to take some washi tape and just put it on the corners. Like so. That one's not quite big enough. So I'm just going to line it up on the corners like so. And just create some funky little corner pieces. Just to give it a little bit something extra. And then we will assemble the card. And I made one last night as I was playing with this. And last night is when I was trying to figure out, you know, what order of the techniques I wanted to show you guys. And I had 7 techniques, but I was like, man, the video is going to be really long with 7. And, you know, I do a lot of backgrounds. It would be nice to do a complete project in which I can feature, you know, several techniques. And then I'm like, hey, these first 4 techniques are great for card makers and stampers. The last 3 are really good for mixed media, but you can totally use it for all of it, of course. All right, so from here, I'm just going to build my card using my wonderful gun, probably putting down way too much tape. That's okay. And just see how that the washi tape just kind of added a little bit something more to it. I believe that that is a Dylusions washi tape. I think it's Diane Reevely's. And then we will just mat this. And what's great about this is it's flat, so guess what? It can go through the mail. I love that with no extra postage. Like that even more. All right, and so look at that. Look at that cute little card. This is the one I did last night. So pretty much the same thing. All right, make sure you guys catch part 2 in which I show you some backgrounds. We're going to get into some really fun stuff that is you guys may have never thought to do before. I've done it before on my channel, but I'm going to do it again with the blends. So I hope you really come back and you enjoyed this. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and leave any questions or comments down below. All right, until next time, happy crafting.